what the world could be, rather than talking about what is the past. How can something be not political? Well, it's been an interesting time because apparently there's a new artist there is a new artist, not apparently, but there's a new artist from Sri Lanka who's the daughter of the army general who killed all the Tamils, and she's being used to whitewash war crimes. And this week everyone's been hitting me up saying, oh, you should work with this girl and remix her song. And she's shamelessly going and singing for the war criminal president of Sri Lanka, and her army was the head of, during the end of the war in Sri Lanka, her dad was one of the leading army commanders, and they committed so much atrocities against women, children, Tamils, etc., etc. And now this girl is a huge star in Sri Lanka and India, and even Tamil singers and musicians are remixing her songs. And a lot of people have been hitting me up this week about it. So it's a really interesting thing this girl is a singer from Sri Lanka, and she's Sinhalese. And yes, I'm talking about Yohani, and she's being promoted on TikTok, and she's got millions of views in India and this and that. And I don't want to put out music as a counteractive thing, or or enter my music into a political space, because I think beyond that, I do think that we are entering a time in the world where it is a better time, believe it or not. And I think it's a better time because it's very, very easy to see where people are wrong. And that is, it's very surface. And because it's surface, we don't even need to fight, because it's there and it's visible. And yes, this is a girl who has to put her name to a bunch of war criminals and rapists and, murderers. And even the Sri Lankan government has to resort to a pop star in order to whitewash their crimes. And we're at that point. But that's because music works. And music ultimately is beyond that. Even though it's being used by the wrong people, music ultimately is beyond picking sides. And if it is beyond that, then that's what it has to be about. And it has to be that we are entering a phase of all for one and one for all. And if it's all for one for all, everything we do, you have to be mindful about it, because it affects everyone. Which is also brings me to listening to the Belmarsh Tribunal today about the Julian Assange case coming up next week. And, we are talking about an event that happened 10 years ago and a video that got leaked 10 years ago. And here we are having to still talk about it. And society will have you think that I'm the shit one for keep talking about the past. Yet it is them who are dragging us back to a practice that feels old, to a system that feels old, and to a method that feels really old. And for those of us who are fighting or even talking about these things, are more progressive and moving forward. And so I think that is what it's about. I want the music to push us forward. And, there is a sense of them and us. With everything. But ultimately, the ultimate lesson that everyone gets to is that there is no concept of dual. So it's about being non-dual at the end, where you do become one with the universe and you become one with everything, and your actions and your thoughts and how it affects everything, your music and the society we all create together. There is never truly a togetherness in the music industry, but the music industry is young, so the industry itself has only been around for less than 100 years. So music and sound is one thing. It's one. And sound is a whole, and it connects to every human or every living thing, as long as it's got ears. Or vibrations can be felt too. So there isn't a them and us. It's something we created, and even the them and us in the music industry is created. Music's always brought people together, yes, and then there's people that exploit it. So anyway, I will be auctioning off the NFT of WikiLeaks mixtape. And then I'm donating the money to Courage Foundation, who will help through the length of the campaign or the court case, which is the appeal. So the US is appealing the verdict, which the court case that Julian already won, where he wasn't going to be extradited to the US. He already won that, but then they put him back in jail for a year until this appeal hearing from the US. And the appeal hearing only lasts 2 days. It's 27-28. And maybe it will last longer. So in order to prepare for that, I am supporting Courage Foundation, which is kind of connected to the Vivienne Westwood Foundation, and because she's done a lot. And So I will be selling bits and pieces from my WikiLeaks website, artwork, one photograph of me actually working on the mixtape by myself in the studio, which is my favorite thing I'm going to put on there, is a screenshot of me making it and the day I dyed my hair blonde to look like Julian Assange. And it's a time-stamped screenshot. And I'm trying to get it cleared so it's going to be on Spotify. Music should be free. Freer. So to all my fans who've had to get hectic and stay with the times and go through everything, yeah, I hope you have more of a well-rounded perspective on life. And I guess it's time to go back in. Brown girl in the ring, tra la 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 la. You shoplifted at H&M, what for? If you're gonna shoplift somewhere better. Podcast date. I'm gonna film it tomorrow. If it doesn't go well, I'll be looking for volunteers who can help me, because it's going to be a one-man band job, but sometimes that's just how it starts. And if anyone's interested in joining this volunteer crew, then I am down. So, yeah, just stepping back in. So, the first thing about the podcast I wanted to say, the things that I wanted to cover, was this, the trial. Obviously I wanted to cover the whole WikiLeaks mixtape thing, maybe talk about touch a little bit on current affairs right now, what's going on, and podcast. Talk about the truth. Well, the truth itself is what's getting everyone into trouble, and everything is censored, and the internet is so boring. Actually, I will start with that, on why internet is so boring right now, because you can't hear any voices on it except for just like random things, like how, I don't know, just nothing that really is nothing that is, I'm sorry, I'm reading all your comments. I should get people on there. So I might just have to become WikiLeaks and do the whole podcast talking like this. And do you have, everybody just wants to know about my music. And so I gotta talk about the music. Do you enjoy working with Travis? Yes. What's your favorite new female rapper? I don't know. I get you. False information is bad. Wisdom. I give you wisdom. This is the only thing I can give you. Fridays are the day of the goddess. So if you guys are around any goddesses today, say hi, check in, be nice, respect the goddess on a Friday. Okay? This is the bit of wisdom I can give you today. And I wanted to talk about the concept of Satya Yuga versus Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga is a concept that we're supposed to be stuck in for about 400,000 years. Actually, I don't know the precise date of how long it lasts. It's debated constantly. But Kali Yuga is darkness, it's destruction, it's death, it's ignorance, is the number one pursuit of life is sex. 95% of your mind is fixed on sex. You disrespect your gurus, your preachers, your spiritual leaders. You have no respect for your parents. Your hairstyles and aesthetics is the number one thing to use to judge by. You judge everything on a superficial level. So this period of intense darkness is called the Kali Yuga. This is the lowest, it's like the Iron Age, it's the lowest era to exist in, the bad times. So we've been in the Kali Yuga for a long time. Things like what WikiLeaks is dealing with and things what Julian is in prison for is speaking the truth against actions that happen in the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is about having no conscious connection to flying a drone 5,000 miles away and bombing the shit out of children and not feeling any connection. You know, Kali Yuga is doing it for the purpose of money and oil and, you know, for excessiveness that doesn't even mean anything at the end of the day. Kali Yuga is not having any spiritual respect for a soul and being able to obliterate it out of the hemisphere at any precise second for any fucking reason. That's Kali Yuga. Greed is Kali Yuga. To then say you're going to sexually liberate women so they can walk around and promote even more, sexualization, which is now getting younger and younger and younger. Like we're sexualizing every bit of content in the world, that even, you know, children's toys are like that, or even like everything I find like that. And I think that's you know, every content on Instagram or TikTok and everything, every artist, every video that's shot, every song, every fucking thing that all promote sexualization of everything, that is Kali Yuga. That's the norm. That is what we've been living, and that is what we have been promoting. That is what we have spent money promoting. And it's a inevitable thing. It's an inevitable cycle. But I think at the same time, I do believe that we are entering Satya Yuga, which is the next step. And the next step is, and I think that comes with COVID. So we've suffered something that is terrible for the world. But at the same time, it has brought us, I think it will bring us out of the dark ages. And this is because all of us will be reminded of the basic necessities to survive. So when food becomes important and working for your food becomes more important, then all of the facade will go. When your air becomes important and your water becomes important, the facade will go. And that's the M.I.A, the illusion. So we're entering that zone. So if the dark ends and we become, the start of a new cycle, this is what I was saying. Some people see it as a nightfall and we're living through a night, dark time. And some people see it as the dawn, that this is the beginning of a new time. And how you see it depends on you. And some people are waiting for the apocalypse and the Armageddon. And for some, it's already started. The transformation of humanity's already started. And if humanity has already started a transformation into a better place, then the story of Julian Assange is an important one because it will define that turning point. Because ultimately this person fought to stop a war and to stop killing of innocent people, which is ultimately killing of souls that, were innocent. And that's why he's in prison, not because he killed them, not because he made money off the war, not because he's a billionaire off that, not because of anything, but because he spoke about it, because he told us who deserve transparency on these kind of things. He told the soldiers who were at war on a lie that it was a lie. And then I think it's a nice representation of the time where we choose what kind of a world we want to go into. So we can carry on and go, okay, the worst case scenario, they assassinate Julian Assange. They put him into a jail in America and kill him. Okay? Well, what does that mean for the rest of us? That we carry on living like the way we lived, which is for years and years just go and start wars, make money, carry on pumping gas into the atmosphere, carry on with climate change issues, carry on with water running out. It's a fact. I'm in America and climate change is a thing. People need water here. And the days are getting hotter. There is more than one person working towards truth, of course. That is why one person cannot be persecuted like this because of truth. That is the whole point. Lots of people tell the truth. Lots of people are journalists. Lots of people work in this way now because of the internet or because of Instagram lives, because of podcasts, because of radio shows, because of whatever your format is. A lot of people speak A lot of people express their opinions. A lot of people tell each other what they think. We are living in the era of that. So why should one person get persecuted? It's bullshit. Anyway, this is my 2 cents. And somebody said we are living in an age of distractions. Well, hopefully I can get into that aspect. Somebody said language is changing and the truth and meaning is faded, like double speak. But really, in order to like not get caught up in all of this, as a human being, you have to develop in lots of different ways. So we know the internet is now quite a fickle place and facade-y. You know, we know the press is like that. We know politics is like that. Music is like that. Entertainment is like that. Schools are like that. Society as a whole is like that. So then we're going through this time, the COVID era, where everything is about being an individual, and it's about being an individual and doing a stock take on the way you live and how it affects the planet, because this is what we're being told, that climate crisis is on the rise. You know, wealth is sucked up to like a handful of people. Shops are closed. So in that sense, yes, it's about the individual. Do I exercise? Someone said. I try exercising, and I try doing yoga, and I meditate. I keep off meat more in America. I try not to eat meat when I'm in America. But if I'm somewhere where I can see animals roam about, then I eat meat sometimes. Maybe like once every few months. I meditate every day for 15 minutes. How do you stay confident? Well, how do I say what? What about my book? It's all coming. So at the moment, I'm doing this WikiLeaks thing because it's this week. And then I have so much music. There are moments where I just want to upload it on omni.com and just call it a day and go and live in a hut. I have this day quite a lot. My routine is I wake up and then I meditate. That's what I do. And then I brush my teeth. And then today I put on a bit of eyeliner because I was doing the chat. This is as much effort as I made. But my battery's dying and I gotta go. Go put Patreon into your routine, okay? Alright. Gotta stay clean, and I shower and I'm in the bathroom and there's a monkey over there. If you can see, look, he's in there, look. There he is, cute. Alright.